Hello friends, my name is Anureed. I hope you're doing great. Welcome to my French learning channel, Le Bon Prof. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you complément d'objet direct, COD. Okay, so let us understand what is COD. COD is a direct object of a sentence. Now, what does it mean? Let us take an example in English first. Rahul has a TV, first sentence. Rahul watches the TV, second sentence. So, as you can see, second sentence seems a little odd because all of the repetition here. This is the subject, the verb, the object. Now here, because the subject and the object have already been introduced in the first sentence, you must find a pronoun to replace both the subject and the object to make the second sentence more readable and lexically more correct. So, we replace Rahul with he and we replace the TV with it. Now the second sentence makes better sense. Rahul has a TV. He watches it every day. So this is a subject pronoun. This we are not going to discuss. You already know what are the subject pronouns in French. Je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous and il plural. This is the topic of discussion of this video. So this is a direct object replaced by it. Two things to note here. First, like we said, this is a direct object of a sentence. The pronoun replaces the direct object to avoid repetition. So I've used it to avoid repetition, and it is a direct object, meaning what? The verb directly acts on the object. Watches it. There is no preposition in between. So preposition doesn't precede the verb. Therefore, the verb directly acts on the object. Therefore, it is called a direct object, or in French, we call it COD, complément d'objet direct. On continue. So these are the COD pronouns in French. These are the subject pronouns that you already know and the corresponding COD pronouns and their meaning in English. Me apostrophe moi, te apostrophe toi, l'apostrophe. L'apostrophe, why? Why do we use this? In case the preceding word starts with a vowel. We will see that in coming examples. L'apostrophe, nous, vous, les. So these are the corresponding meanings. Me, me, the, you, le, him or it, la, her or it, nous, us, vous, you, les, them. I'll keep coming back to this particular slide when we are doing some examples. On continue. Rules of using COD. So when you are using the COD pronoun to replace a direct object, what are the rules to be followed? Number one, it can be used to replace an object. Now this object can be either a person or a thing. Example, je connais Rahul. So here Rahul is an object. It is a direct object. You can see I know Rahul. So the verb is directly acting on the object. It is not preceded by a preposition. Therefore, it has to be replaced by a COD pronoun. So how do we decide what to be used for Rahul? We go back here. Rahul is singular masculine. So we use le. Je connais Rahul, je le connais. It can be used to replace an object, which can be a person or a thing. Rahul is a person, and we used the COD for masculine singular to replace Rahul. It directly follows the verb. There is no preposition here anywhere you can see. It is never preceded by a preposition. Again, I'm stressing the same thing. You will never see a preposition when you are using say or they pronoun. Okay, let's take another example. J'aime la robe bleue. So here is the object. Here is the verb. I love the blue dress. Now, this is the object that you have to replace. It is feminine singular. What to use for feminine singular? La. And you can see here it is followed by a verb starting with vowels. So you will use L apostrophe here. Next one. Je vois la tour Eiffel. I see the Eiffel Tower. So feminine again, feminine singular, you use la. Je la vois. Fourth point. The past participle agrees with the COD in both gender and number if used with auxiliary avoir. What does it mean? Let us see an example. Elle a regardé les fleurs. So as you can see, this is in passé composé. He saw the flowers in the past. A regardé. So when you are replacing a object direct in the sentence that follows a passé composé, then here you can see les fleurs, which is what? Feminine singular? No, feminine plural. What will you use? Feminine plural. Les. Okay, so that much is clear that you will use les. Now the point is, why have I added E and S? That's what fourth point is talking about. The past participle agrees with the COD. What is the COD? Les. In both gender and number if used with avoir. So this is feminine plural. So the past participle here, the past participle has to agree with les. Now les is replacing fleur and fleur here is feminine plural. Therefore regarder will be feminine plural. How will you make it feminine plural? By adding E and by adding S. So I hope you understood this concept, and this happens only with auxiliary avoir, does not happen with être. So if you are using a se or they with avoir in past tense, the se or they must agree in both gender and number with the past participle. I hope this much is clear so that we can proceed. Okay, now rules of placement. How is COD placed? COD is placed before a single verb. Here, il mange de la pizza. What is the verb here? Mange, the object, direct object, feminine object, you will use la. Placement, single verb, if there is a single verb, you will place it before the single verb. So mange and la. So before the single verb here. Second point, COD is placed before the auxiliary verb in passé composé. So if it is past tense, then you will place it before the auxiliary. Here, elle a acheté les gâteaux. Les gâteaux is the object here. It is masculine plural, so you will use les, and it is placed before the auxiliary. Auxiliary is avoir, so elle les a achetés. Here you can see the past participle agrees with the number and gender. It is masculine plural. Les is masculine plural. Why? Because gâteau is masculine and it is plural. Nous devons dire la vérité. Now, third point. COD is placed before infinitive in case of two verbs. Now, what do we do if there are two verbs? Now here, devons and dire. So, two verbs, devoir and dire. One is conjugated, one is infinitive. So, in case there are two verbs, you will place the COD before the infinitive. So, dire is infinitive here. You are replacing la vérité, which is feminine singular. You will use la, nous devons la dire. So, between two verbs or before the infinitive. Next one. COD is placed after the verb in affirmative imperative. So if you're using imperative, for example, écris la lettre. So la lettre is the object here, écris is the verb. So you will replace la lettre, which is feminine singular, with la. But here you can see it's imperative. Therefore, you will use a hyphen to join the verb and the COD pronoun. Écris la. That's how it is placed. COD is placed before the verb in negative imperative. So here you have an example of negative imperative. N'écris pas la lettre. You have to replace la lettre, which is feminine singular. You will use la. But in negative imperative, it is placed before the verb. This is the verb. Therefore, ne l'écris pas, and since it starts with a vowel, you will use L apostrophe. So I hope the rules of placement of the COD are clear. It is pretty simple if you follow the rules. Learn the rules and you will never go wrong with the COD. On continue. Okay, now there is a small quiz that I've made for you. Now that I have told you all the rules, why don't you try it? I'm going to wait for you for like 30 seconds. You can pause it, and after pause you can see the answers. So I'm waiting for you. Do it. There are 12 sentences. You have to replace the words in yellow. These are the direct objects with the COD pronouns. Wait. Let us see. What have you learned? Wait. Okay. Let us see how much do you retain. Okay. So, should I show you the answers now? Have you done it? Okay. Let us discuss the answers then. All right. First statement. Il dit bonjour. Bonjour, object direct. Il le dit. Elle chante une belle chanson, objet direct, féminin. Elle la chante. Je enseigne le garçon, objet direct, masculine singular. Je le enseigne, le, because this starts with a vowel. Il a frappé Ruchi et moi. He punched me and Ruchi. So me, I'm taking here as a girl. So both Ruchi and moi, it is girl. So il, nous, Ruchi and moi becomes us. He punched us. So us, we use nous. Il nous a frappé. And please see es, because Ruchi and moi, feminine, plural. Il parle les langues étrangères. Les langues étrangères, masculine, plural. Il les parle. Nous avons bu de l'eau chaude. We drank warm water. De l'eau chaude, masculine, singular. and since it is passé composé, it will be placed before the auxiliary. Nous l'avons bu. Why L? Because it starts with a vowel. Elle a oublié. Abhi et toi. She has forgotten. Abhi and you. So Abhi and you becomes vous. Elle a oublié vous. So elle vous a oublié. Notice the S since Abhi et toi becomes plural. She has forgotten you. You is plural here. Demain, elle va écrire une lettre. Tomorrow, she is going to write a letter, une lettre. Feminine, singular. Two verbs. It is placed between the verbs. Tomorrow, she is going to write you a letter. Demain, elle va écrire le because it is vowel. Tu aimes voir un film, masculine singular, two verbs placed between two verbs. Tu aimes le voir. Je promène mon chien. I walk my dog. Masculine singular, passé composé, placed before the auxiliary and L apostrophe because it is preceded by a vowel. Je les promène. I walk my dog. Vous aimez parler le français? You like to speak French. Le français masculine singular. Aimer, parler, two verbs placed between two verbs. Vous aimez le parler. Elle a cassé le vase. Passé composé, masculine singular. Elle l'a cassé. So, how was it? How many did you get correct? If you got almost 8 to 9 correct, I think you've done quite well and your understanding of COD is good. If you haven't got 8 to 9 correct and you've got it maybe 4 or 5 1 correct, I think you have to go back, see the video again, go through all the rules of COD again. So I hope you learned COD pronouns. I hope you learned the rules, how to use them, how to place them, and I hope you got almost 9 to 10 correct in this quiz. So if you liked this video, kindly like, share and subscribe my channel and keep watching this space for more interesting videos on French. Have a great day. Au revoir.